Welcome back to the Midnight Vigil, the channel where the stars are always right and there really is a monster hiding underneath your bed. This is another episode of The Daily Scream, the series where I talk about current events in the horror community that caught my eye. Do you ever feel like you're being punished for something that you've done? Do you ever feel like you are trapped in a nightmare that you can't escape from? Do you believe in karma? Do you believe that we are really living in hell? That's what I've come to realize because this is a hilarious article about Agony, a game that I hated and reviewed. I feel like I can't get away from this game. I've already done a review. I've got another video about it where we're going to talk about the what in the world is going on with the GOG uncensored release that they're planning on doing now. I mean, I feel like Mad Mind are just flipping the switch on whether they're going to uncensor the game that they, for legal issues, were forced to censor. But anyways, what we're here to talk about is Waypoint's hilarious Agony review. If you could call it a review, because there's only about maybe one or two paragraphs in here where they actually talk about the game. So I'm going to walk you through and give my impressions. Usually I hate it when YouTubers just read you articles, which is kind of what I'm going to do here, but I really want you to stick with me because I promise you there's going to be something for everyone to enjoy here. So Agony, a game about dehumanizing women, isn't just bad, it's toxic. Okay, I mean, whatever. You're obviously telling me this is going to be a seriously politicized review. Whatever, let's just dive in. Of course, YouTubers themselves, feminists get a mention. Content warning, descriptions and depictions of extreme violence, sexual assault. Okay, this is all fictional. No one is being sexually assaulted. No one has been killed. No one's been raped or groped. Do we really need this sort of pearl clutching about a video game? Okay, so let's see. Okay, so they're talking about how the article. Who wrote this? Patrick. Okay, Patrick. Patrick is writing about how Agony hates women. It's talking about how the visuals in the game are, totally fucked up, and it's like this playbook out of some teenage power fantasy. But here's where the first lie is. We're very soon in. Okay, so here we go. Men are tortured and strung up in agony, but it's the women who strut around the world without clothes. This is a total fucking lie, and you know that it's a lie, Patrick. If you played this game for more than 5 minutes, you'd know that it was a lie. The women do not have... Okay, you can see breasts. Their obvious genitalia is censored, which it wasn't before the game was released, which is part of why there's such an outcry about this game online. But the men display the most nudity. The most graphic nudity in the game comes from the male characters. You will see so much floppy penis. You will see balls. You will see everything that you didn't want to see from this game. This is a total lie. Let's see. Okay, H.R. Geiger. Okay, big fan of Geiger. Where is the next lie? Okay, skip that. Okay, here we go. Agony is the kind of game conservative culture warriors will defend, not because it's good, but because it offends people. Okay, well, let's just first get this lie out of the way. No one is defending this game. It has overwhelmingly negative reviews. When I last checked Metacritic, it has like a 48. On Steam, it's mixed, but the reviews there are like it's leaning negative, overwhelmingly negative. The gaming publicity that's been getting has been negative. IGN gave it a very negative review. PC Gamer, all kinds of negative coverage here. So the idea that anyone is defending a game that everyone hates, it's an obvious lie. You're really just wanting to talk about conservative culture warriors. Are we really supposed to believe that that's your equivalent to SJWs. This is not a thing. Okay, this is like the movie Mean Girls, where stop trying to make fetch a word. This will never be a word. Okay, this is not real. This is something that you are making up. And of course, President Trump, even he doesn't escape a review about a game that is totally unrelated to President Trump at all. In today's Trump-fueled victimhood culture, that's basically a win. Okay, I don't really know what you're trying to say here, because you're the person that is triggered. You are the person who is crying about a fictional game where hell is a mean place where your fifis are hurt. You are the victim here, Patrick. Stop trying to don't try and force your insecurities on the rest of us, okay? You can't project on us like that. It doesn't work. Okay, this is like one of the few paragraphs where there's actually a review. And you know what? I totally agree with all of this. It's a horrible game. It is so bad. I don't recommend it. I have a review that I'm shamelessly plugging again. You should check it out. It's a terrible game. Review summary: an ugly power fantasy where hell and demons mask its ideological truth, the domination of women. Okay, we're going to get to this later. Obviously, it's a lie. Number of vagina apples you collect, too many. Okay, well, look, if I really have to explain the symbolism behind the forbidden fruit and why it's a vagina, the point has flown and gone so far over your head. You have missed the obvious symbolism. You've missed the obvious allusion that they're making here to Dante's Inferno. You've missed the whole point of why the forbidden fruit represents feminine sexuality. You're so triggered that they dared use a vagina texture on an apple. An apple. Well, I wonder where I've heard of an apple for. Where did that come from in relation to biblical references? It's like you're not even trying, Patrick. Did you even apply any critical analysis to what you were saying before you wrote this, or did you just spit this up for the Tumblr crowd? Let's see. Okay, fine, whatever. Shock value, repulsive beauty. Okay, I guess. Okay, here we go. These words right here, these phrases, okay, yeah, people do say this, but the context here is you're really missing the point. The characters that say this are referencing the red goddess who rules hell and is like the main figure. I know it's going to be unbelievable to you, Patrick, but they say these things. Okay, these two, a character is talking to the main character when he says, well, you refer to the red goddess as slut and whore, but I know who she really is. This is said in context to be wrong, because that's not what the red goddess is to another character. They're having a discussion about what she represents and who she is. So you've totally just cherry-picked this out because it triggered you. This statement right here is from another character talking about the red goddess. And again, this is not used in a negative way. They're using it to describe how sexually powerful she is, and they're talking about the transformation the character has experienced by being in proximity to her, and this transformation they're going through in hell. Yeah, it's supposed to be very negative imagery because you're in hell. What did you expect? So yeah, again, I hated the game, but we don't have to lie about how bad it is. Even I've tried to erase all of this context from my mind, and I still remember that in game, this is not. You've taken out 4 words of a note that explains why this is appropriate in the context. So again, here, context is everything. World building, okay, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, the story is muddling and confusing. Okay, great, totally get it. The red goddess, we're talking about that. Again, you're totally missing the point about the nudity here, but whatever. We're talking about angry YouTubers, teenagers again, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay, here we go. He's talking about the penises that you see and how apparently it was not adequate enough. I don't know how anyone could play this game. I don't. What you should be talking about here is why is it okay in this country to show a penis, but it is not okay to show a vagina? Are they not equivalent? Why is the naked male form this disgusting abomination that we should be hiding behind? And female beauty is this thing of empowerment, and like fit attractive women are the most beautiful thing, and even if you're out of shape as a woman, you're still this beautiful thing that you need to respect. But male sexuality and the male form, regardless, unless you're like this Greek god Adonis, in the flesh, you're just a normal guy. You're ugly, you're average, you're not special. Keep your clothes on, no one wants to see it. I mean, you should be using your platform to talk about the double standard in our culture, but instead you're getting triggered about things that just aren't real at all. Okay, more stupid imagery in this game. They didn't realize how aggressive this stuff was coming across. Yeah, bullshit, Patrick. They sold the game on this content. That's an obvious lie. This game was marketed on its deviant sexual material. It's supposed to be taboo. It was supposed to portray hell in a way that no one had the balls or the guts to do before. So don't even try and play this off as, well, maybe they didn't know what they were doing, and ha ha ha, wink wink. I'm trying to make a point that they did know what they were doing, and they're just horrible misogynists about it. Okay, give me a break. No one really cares. The community around this game wanted it to be uncensored because that was the product that they were sold. And the developers lied up until launch about this patch. And now the patch isn't coming, but now they're going to re-release it all over again. It's a total mess. And by the way, Valve has not clamped down on this. This is a recent development, like yesterday morning, I think, where Valve said that, Steam was going to be the wild, wild west of like a game platform, and everyone was welcome as long as it wasn't trolling or obviously, pornographic material, which this game isn't. Okay, this is one of the final lies talking about this is totally not true at all. These words right here, brutal sex scenes, lesbian and gay sex scenes, and genital physics. Okay, these are things that Madmind described as being in the game. This was sort of the bone that was thrown to players to appease them when the unrated patch on launch day was dropped. And they said that they only removed like a couple of seconds from one of the endings of the game, and this was still in it, and they had made the concession on one of the end cutscenes, but the rest of the stuff they got to keep in. So this was not in the patch. You are a liar again, Patrick. I'm very disappointed. Okay, this is a waste again. The video is stupid, butt physics stupid. Okay, here we go. The raping of the succubus character really triggers Patrick here, because it's pornographic. Yeah, I don't really understand here how you're connecting that with the forced domination and submission of women. The succubus isn't a woman, Patrick. I don't, want to burst your bubble. Succubi are described as demons that feed upon sexual imagery, sexual energy, particularly of men. They're not human. They don't have human rights. They're not given these rights by you, Patrick. They're not like us. Obviously they're video game characters too, so you're totally missing the point both ways. Succubi are evil. They kill people. They're evil in the game. Who seriously cares what happens to them? Who seriously cares about all this fake violence? None of this is real. You're complaining that that hell doesn't have a safe space. Is that what we've come to? It's just disgusting. It really is laughable. Okay, forced domination and submission of women. Okay, obviously this again isn't true at all, because hell is run by women. The raping of the succubus, this happens in the evil ending. You're an evil person, you become more evil, you do bad things in your life, and then you do even worse things in hell, and you sort of become this horrible character that you're supposed to despise and hate. This is not the glorification of sexual assault. This is an obvious example of who you're not supposed to be. And this is only one of the endings. I want to say that there's 7 in the game, 7 complete endings, and you picked out the worst one, the total evil ending, and you're upset about it. That's the point of being evil. That was the point of having an evil ending, to show you doing bad things. So it's just, the premise is ridiculous. Hatred isn't even worth talking here because, of course, we have to bring up gun control and, mass shootings because, of course we do. Let's see, what else? Perhaps the scariest interpretation is the developers don't think any of this is a problem. Yeah, okay, because it isn't. It's not a problem at all. The real problem is how bad the game is, how unfun and frustrating and poorly designed it is. The content here is supposed to be edgy, and it's so ridiculously edgy. Like, I don't disagree with you that it's almost like this teenaged version of hell, but I'll give them credit. They stuck with their vision. The censorship stuff is stupid, and I don't agree with it at all because they ran a misleading marketing campaign. But the whole point of this game was to push buttons, and clearly they've pushed yours. After 30 minutes, you were beyond triggered. Okay, well, nothing happens in the first 30 minutes, Patrick. I was bored. The game was so dark, I couldn't see anything. I didn't know what was going on. I don't blame you for, not playing more than 5 hours. I don't know how I got 8 hours out of it. It's an honestly horrible game. Hey, stop looking for politics and everything. Yeah, totally. You really should. You should. You're making fun of this statement, but it's like you're almost so close to being self-aware, Patrick. I feel like you just need that one gentle push, and you can see about what you're doing. You can see how journalism like this hurts our hobby, how journalism like this doesn't help anything, how journalism like this is fake news. You are lying in this article. None of this is true. None of this is real. This last bit, the power dynamics of sex between genders. Hell is run by a woman, Patrick. She has total control over everything that happens. You bow before her. You worship her as a character in the game. She's a beautiful figure that you admire. You lust after her. She's powerful. She has total control. Agony is about how men suffer in the afterlife, how men are used and eaten by demons, and how hell is run by women who just use and abuse them and kill them. I don't know how you could play that game and come to a different interpretation, especially considering how obvious the male nudity is and how the female nudity is completely censored. In this gay sex thing, again, this is a total lie. You haven't even played this game. It's a total lie. Basically, that's it. I feel like I've rambled a little bit, but I just wanted to give this article, one more click, one more than it deserved, but I wanted to go through it because, look, Agony is a bad game, but we don't have to be disingenuous. We don't have to use politics. For God's sake, Donald Trump does not belong in a discussion about this game. He really doesn't. What belongs in a discussion about this game is the censorship that went on, is about how players and Kickstarters, some of them aren't even getting their keys still, and they feel like they've been misled by the marketing campaign. And we should absolutely be talking about the fictional legal issues and the ethics of releasing another version of this game after they've already made people pay for it one more time. I've already paid for this game. There's no way, pardon the pun, in hell that I'm going to pay for it again. And finally, we should be talking about, again, what were they doing for all these years? How did a mess of a game like this get past Q&A? Who tested this game? How did it get released in this state? It needs more time. It needed more time desperately. Maybe there could be some fun game, if it had been given another year or so to develop. Maybe fun could have been found. Maybe the gameplay problems could have been fixed. But the way that it is now, it's a horrible game that no one is defending. It's universally panned by critics. I don't understand why we have to bring up politics in a game that no one likes anyways. But basically, that's it. Anyways, guys, I ramble a lot in this video. I feel like I went way too long, but I really wanted to cover this story because Agony is like the albatross around my neck. I just can't seem to get away from it. There's so much going on still with this game. I feel duty bound to cover it at least one or two more times because the story is developing as we're talking. People are still talking about it on Steam. People are still mad. It's still worth talking about. But don't buy this game. This game's terrible. Stay far away from this game. That's it, guys. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe. If you have a Twitter, you can follow me at Midnight Vigil. Thank you, and I will see you next time.